Kevin, how you doing?
Yeah, not bad, not bad.
Good to see you.
Yeah,
Thanks for having us.
you're welcome. This is the first ever live tasting I've had, so
Live tasting. There you go.
it's going to be
So we'll-
interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we're excited. Yeah,
Oh,
we're Nolly. We're part of the non-alcoholics group, just for viewers.
Cool.
We've got a website online where we review stuff, review non-alcoholic beers and spirits and stuff.
Cool.
So yeah, we're excited to do this.
I want as honest as you can possibly do. I don't want you holding back with me being on the
We're
screen.
excited. Yeah,
So-
we're excited to try it.
Cool.
Yeah.
How did you find me in the first place?
I think it was just Google search, to be honest. I think it was just the Google for non-alcoholic beer alternatives. But I don't know. We're trying to do everything at the moment. We're trying to review as many of the different options on offer at the moment. We like kind of the independent stuff. So yeah, it'd be good to kind of hear what made you want to do this in the first place.
Well, I'm a chef by trade, so I've been a chef for 17 years. And then I was running my own micro bakery in Essex for 4 years.
Right.
I had loads of bread left over from a market one day. And
Right.
do you guys watch Sunday Brunch?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I've
so-
heard of it.
Yeah.
So on Sunday Brunch, they had a segment where they do about food and drink.
Mhm.
And one of those segments was on Eastern European food. And the last one was a drink called Kvas. So
Right.
I was like, okay. And then they said it's made of bread. I'm like, okay, that sparked an interest in me. I've got a load of bread here. I've never heard of a drink made of bread. I
Yeah.
like to be different. Let's go and give it a try. I did a
Awesome.
bit of research and I realized it is as big as Coca-Cola in Eastern Europe.
Is it?
So I was like, okay, that's quite interesting. Why have we never heard of it over here?
Yeah.
So I played around, and yeah, it's just developed into this brand.
Awesome.
Wow. No, that's really interesting. I'd love to hear sort of how you make it. What's the process like?
So what we do is this flavor is made from avocado, sourdough,
Yeah.
and lime leaf. So the whole process about it was because in lockdown, a lot of people love sourdough. You saw so many people make sourdough all over
Yeah.
lockdowns. And what's best goes sourdough, because I wanted to aim for the millennial market, is avocado on toast. That is the most popular thing you see over Instagram. So I was like, okay, that could be interesting. So I got a bit of avocado, tried it. I was like, okay, this works. I was working with someone else who developed my idea, but then he wanted to charge me massive amount of money. I didn't have the money behind me to do that. So I went back to the drawing board and tried to get the recipe as close as possible. And I think I've done that myself. So what we do, we use avocado leaves instead of avocados, because avocados is a very unsustainable product because it uses so much water. So I wanted to still have the avocado, but use a byproduct.
Mhm.
So we use the leaves, which also gives it like an aniseedy licorice taste to it, which as a chef, I weren't aware. But when I tried it, I was like, oh, I really like that. And obviously, when you think about avocados, like if you do a guacamole, you always put lime into it. So it was just add that citrusy taste to it. So that's how I developed flavoring into it.
Awesome. Good stuff.
Have you got any other flavors in the range, or is it just this one here?
So this is my first one. I'm working on my next 2 flavors. I've got 5 on the way, but that'll be over the next 4 or 5 years.
And what's the process like? How do you actually make it?
So it's basically you use dry bread, bring it up to boil, add your flavors and yeast, sugar and water. So it's only 6 ingredients in this. So it's avocado leaves, lime leaves, sourdough, water, yeast and sugar. That's all.
Yeah. Nice.
and you just ferment it for a week or two, and you get your product.
Bottle it, yeah.
And you do that all locally, do you?
So I found a brewer who brews for me. So we brew up in Scotland, as it's really hard to find a brewery who will develop this product, because of the process it does. It buggers up beer lines.
Right.
So a lot of brewers told me to go away. I'm not dealing with you. So I found one who was happy to deal with me, and yeah. So
I did read about that with the Guinness 0.0. They have to do it by the can. They can't put it through the lines because of that reason. I didn't know that was the reason. That's interesting.
So it makes it fun, but luckily I found someone who is happy to produce it for me. So yeah. So it is produced in Stirling in Scotland.
Okay, awesome. Seems to be a lot of non-alcoholic kind of spirits going on up there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we crack it open?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, and I've got one as well. I'll try
You got
mine.
one, yeah. Let's have it together. Yeah. Yeah, as I say,
It could be a bit lively.
Okay. Get that open.
There she is.
Yeah.
There it is. Oh yeah, fizzy.
It's good old fizz, isn't it? Interesting colour, Kevin.
Yeah, it's quite.
So where does the colour come from, do you find? Is that more the leaves?
Yeah, it's a mix between normally Kvas is a very dark brown, but because of the process I do with my bread, so I naturally dry out my sourdough for 2 weeks.
Right.
But normally with Kvas you burn it to give it a dark brown, but it's just the logistics on producing it. So it's a nice light colour. I quite like it.
And you sweeten it a little bit, do you?
It's got a little bit of sugar just to help, because you need sugar to help the fermentation.
Right.
Other than that, that's it.
Yeah.
And that's what gives it the 1.2. Was it 1.2 alcohol volume? Is that what gives
so
it?
The reason why it's 1.2, not 0.5, is I've let it naturally get to the highest point. Mm-hmm. So a lot of 0.5s and 0.0s, they restrict it, right. Or they water it down. And I just didn't want to dilute my flavour and naturally take it as far as I can.
Cool.
But yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Should we give it a try?
Okay.
Thanks, Kevin. Cheers to you.
Cheers.
Kevin.
Cheers. That's interesting.
That's unique, isn't it?
They're really
aniseedy flavour straight away, don't you? Coming through.
You can definitely taste the kind of citrusy, limey. It's weird. It's almost like you've got that herbal kind of tea kind of feel. But in it's interesting because it's not even like a beer, is it? It's almost like a cider texture in your mouth, like a fizzy cider texture.
With Kvas, it's a weird one because it's in between. It's like some people say it's like a beer, and some people say it's like a kombucha. So it's that in between.
Kombuchas,
one. So what I've done is my branding's very beer-like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I think this drink fits nicely with the people who don't like that bitterness in beer.
Yeah.
But like the feel of having something similar.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. No, I get that kombucha taste, definitely.
Yeah.
Because kombucha, I mean, when it's not too sweetened, it feels like a healthier drink.
Yeah, but you also kombucha, you get that vinegary taste, so you don't get that with this one at all. So it's like a mix.
It's interesting. The lime leaf, is that still adds that citrusy flavor to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, you can definitely smell that aniseed.
Yeah.
There's a lot of spice in there, a lot of aroma spice.
It's very drinkable, isn't it? Yeah, that's nice.
It is good. Yeah, that lime leaf really kicks through.
That's good. I wanted it to be quite refreshing. So a drink you would have at brunch time. So that earlier part of the day.
Yeah. And in terms of, because I know a lot of readers are, thinking about calories when they're drinking low alcohol. What do we know what the kind of calorie count is in this, and whether it's kind of like slightly better than a normal beer?
That's a job I need to get done. I've got to be honest. But I wouldn't think it's higher than probably 60, 45, 60. So that healthy range. But
that's what people are looking for nowadays. I think they want to drink at lunchtime. It's not full of sugar. They want an alternative to a Coke, and I think this kind of sugar
wise, it should be under your limits on, is it 0.5 or there's a 5 gram sugar, so it's under that. So
cool.
Yeah. And Kevin, where can people find it? Are you in any shops? Whereabouts are you selling it?
So we've got it on our website, obviously. Then we're in a couple of places in London. So we're in Holiday Inn. We've just launched in Green Spears. Today's Bread in Walthamstow. Eltham Wine in, I think, Eltham in London. Then 5 or 6 places in Norwich. So that's where I'm based at the moment based. So at the moment, those 2 areas I'm pretty much targeting, but I'm looking to go further afield.
Interesting. So, I'm sure we can probably help out with some local connections over here as well, Kevin.
Yeah. But, whereabouts are you based?
We're Cheltenham. So Gloucestershire.
Cool.
Yeah. But we got on board with, there's another partner in the business of non-alcoholics called Jason. He's based near Birmingham. And we all kind of have the same, I suppose, drive. We know that the non-alcoholic market is taking off. It's just a case of it's kind of almost helping to fund the support and the research to get it better and better. Because I mean, without the knowledge that the non-alcoholic market was taking off, you probably wouldn't have even thought about this. So it's interesting to
actually. When I started producing this, it weren't because I've seen a boom in non-alcoholic. I just loved the idea of producing a Kvas drink. And strange enough, I had a meeting with a shareholder I have, and we sat down there and we said we can go 2 ways: the health market or the beer market. And because I'm from a pub background, I want to go down that pub way. And strange enough, over the last 2 years, the no-low category's gone boom, as well as the gut health category, as well as the sustainable category. So all 3 things we target are booming at the moment, which is nice to see.
Yeah.
Do you find that gut health category in the bakery, do you find that people are interested in learning more about better health or anything like that? Are people looking to better bread options? Yeah,
it's a very interesting, because the fermentation produces a thing called lactobacillus, which is good for your gut health. We need to do some tweaking with the product to get it better in that sense. So I'm not going to come here and put out some claims that we're good for gut health, but we're working towards adjusting the product slightly just to make sure it comes in.
Cool.
Yeah.
So how do you guys think this fits in that no-low category? As you probably have tried so much. Do you think I'm over hitting the mark with the beer category, or?
For me, I think it's almost like what you said. It fits somewhere in between that beer. It's almost cidery, isn't it? It's got kind of that.
It's refreshing.
Yeah, it's refreshing. Yeah, it's almost champagne-y in a way as well. It sort of cuts across quite a lot of different things. I think what's quite nice about it as well is it's got a good amount of fizz, which we find a lot of the lagers we try tend to not have the same amount of fizz. I love the branding. I think you've done a really good job there with the sort of branding it as a beer, and I think it does drink really well, and the flavors come through. Yeah, I mean, it holds up versus a lot of what we try, and I think it's really drinkable. Definitely a good summer drink. And yeah, be excited to see what other flavors you can come up with.
A controversial thing on our label is the use of IPA. So what I use the IPA is it's normally Indian Pale Ale. It's not an Indian Pale Ale, but I use it as an ideal plausible alternative, which is represents what a no low is now.
Yeah.
Is that going to be controversial, do you think, in the...
Not at all. I mean, the good thing is that people will question it, which is, the marketing is the key to getting this out there and making it happen. But I think the benefit that you've got right now, especially with moving forward and producing more of these, is that if you can get into that Asian market and, a lot of the kind of Middle East market, although they wouldn't specifically allow 1.2 to be sold, so they only allow, you see with Peroni and Heineken, they're all going 0.0. That's because the Asian markets, they love, non-alcoholic alternatives, but they can't have anything above 0.0. It has to be 0.0. So I'd be interested to see, how that can be made possible. I don't know if it can be made possible with Kvas, but I think it's cool. I like it. It's not like you're going against some sort of, IPA is just a name, isn't it? It's like you don't have to, it's not trademarked by anyone. No. But it's a case of marketing, I think, and having that angle to be able to share with people.
Yeah, and we've drunk loads now of non-alcoholic beers, and really there's you can push the envelope in any direction you want with a non-alcoholic beer. I mean, they're all very different, very unique. Some of them pour a little bit like yourself, some of them pour more like a beer. It really there's no set sort of template for what a non-alcoholic beer should be. It's difficult to sort of define it. I think this sort of holds out quite nicely. I think it drinks really well, and I think it definitely will be a popular drink in summer for sure. It's really smooth and easy drinking.
It'd probably be actually quite nice with avo on toast. Quite a nice drink in the morning. But good pairing option with avocado, because you've already got that hint of lime, and I suppose it's everything that you probably want on eggs and avocado on toast.
Yeah. Cool.
I like it.
Yeah, it's got that sweetness to it.
And a tangy taste.
Yeah.
That's nice to hear.
Kevin, what's next? Have you got any ideas?
We're in talks with 2 major supermarkets, which hopefully I can pull off. I think it'll hopefully do well. One, there's not many low and no options available in that one. So if I can get in there, I think I could bring across a lot of millennials over to that supermarket who already shop there and want a no-low option to buy it from there. So that's a big work I'm doing. And we're working on our second flavour, which is using panettone. Okay. So basically all my flavours are based on 3 things. So it's a bread, which is overproduced, a fruit or a vegetable, and a citrus. So my second flavour will be using panettone. So that's a product I'm working on currently. So that's
going to give it a bit of a sweeter taste, do you think?
Yeah, it is, because at Christmas you see so many panettones on the shelf, and I would not want to know how many go to waste at the end of Christmas where they're not sold. So what my target is taking all those unsold panettones and turn it into the next product.
Yeah.
So and just keep on building up a community around what I produce. Also gain more stockists, and just keep on going. It's quite exciting. But
no, it's great, and I'm sure people will want to get behind it. All the communities online. And actually, weird you say about the younger demographic. We were looking the other day for a recent article we wrote on the surge in students specifically who are wanting to move towards non-alcoholic alternatives. And it's getting close to like 20-25% now of people who are choosing to go out and have something different because they're going out more regularly. They're not wanting to wake up with a hangover every other day. So they're starting to look at these kind of things to have just as a bit of a sessionable thing.
And people always like trendy, and at the moment Nolo is so trendy with people like Lucky Saint, Small Beer. They're very out there, and like if you've seen a lot of TV programs now having it, like Dragon's Den had 3 or 4 on, The Apprentice, and then Gordon Ramsay's latest one. There's been a lot of notice on the TV market at the moment, which is interesting.
Yeah,
it's picking up for sure. And I think also the research we've done, it's grown at about 9% a year at the moment. So that compounded, over the space of a few years, it's billions flooding into the market.
So how are you noticing who's your subscribers, or what are you seeing on your side?
It's a mix, really. I mean, especially on Facebook and readers that you see on there, demographic-wise, and the people who are interacting, it can be anywhere from like a mum who's just looking for something to have a drink, when the kids have gone to bed, or it could be a couple looking to do something. People who are camping. There's a lot of people who want to take non-alcoholic drinks away rather than getting boozy every single night. It's a complete range of things. I think it's actually just becoming trendy to have a great tasting non-alcoholic beer with no backlash, not feeling rubbish the next day, feeling kind of good to go, especially if you're a walker or a camper. I mean, you don't want to be waking up every single morning with a massive hangover. So it's a lot trendier right now, I believe, than soft drinks. I think Josh has that as well.
Yeah. And I think, the more you walk into a bar nowadays and, it seems like more and more often you're seeing a non-alcoholic option on tap, something you can get in a pint glass and just sit down with your mates and actually have a, almost a guilt-free, I suppose you could say, during the week, pint of beer. And I think that's what we're excited about. And the fact that the gap is getting smaller and smaller between an actual alcoholic drink and a non-alcoholic drink is really exciting. I think, these are all exciting new sort of things. This is completely different for us. I've never had anything that sort of tasted quite like this, and I'm just excited to see the direction it goes.
Do you think it will scare people away being so different?
I think it's its own thing. I not from our sort of tasting of non-alcoholic drinks, there isn't really one profile that you can go with. I think we've had a vast range of things. As far as non-alcoholic beers go, there's a large collection of different flavors and tastes you can get, and this would be on one spectrum, and then you could have almost the All Saints one that was like sort of it's very close to and the sort of the Guinness 0.0 is very close to a Guinness, and this would be on the other end of the spectrum, which is it's almost its own flavor profile completely. It stands on its own, maybe as its own beverage. Maybe you don't even need to call it a beer. I guess it's very unique in what it tastes like, and I think that's what it's exciting about it. It's opening up a whole new avenue of drinks and flavors that people can go out and enjoy, and you can get it in your pint glass and you can sit with your mates and you can sort of feel like you're part of it.
And with it being 1.2%, because this is what I'm also noticing, a lot of market is targeted around the 0.5%, and people are iffy because I'm on that border of the maximum on being classed as a low alcohol drink. For you guys, does it bother you being at 1.2%?
Not really. It's, you know, you've got the no alcohol market, the people who specifically, you know, want the abstinence. They want to just not drink above 0.5, which is fair enough. The other people are doing it, like you say, for health choices. They're wanting to buy 1.2%. And, you know, the other sessionable, infinite session, you know, you got the kind of ones that are up to 1.5, maybe 2, maybe even 3. But it's the ability to be able to have 2 or 3 of them, enjoy them, but not get the feeling that, you know, it's toxic in their body, or, you know, it's not, you know, kind of hampering their diet or nutritional efforts. So with something like this, where you're actually targeting both health and low alcohol, I feel like you've got a good segment of the market. Not to name drop, but there's a company called 3 Spirit who they specifically create their own types of spirited drinks. So they go for like kind of the same thing, you know, herbal type spirits. And the reason Josh and I love them is that you can have one of those with a specific mixer, and you can't get the same flavor with just another gin or like another vodka alternative. They're going for their own specific taste. And it's the same as like Campari or Aperol, you know, they're going for their own specific branded drink. They're not looking to be a vodka. They're going for a specific flavor that they've created. So it's just, it's segmenting that market, and also knowing that not everyone's going to love this, but the people who love kombucha, or the people who love, you know, to specifically think about their health, this is going to be the perfect target for those kind of people.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good stuff.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's a nice drop.
Definitely. Yeah.
It's one of those scary things because it's so different. It's a bit scary when people are trying it for the first time. It's like, are you going to enjoy it? Are you not? It's but that's the fun of the game, I guess.
Definitely, yeah. Not everyone's going to enjoy it. I mean, you know, not everyone enjoys rum, but it's like one of the biggest old spirits in the market. So it's just it's trying to find that niche, but also I think that kombucha angle is really good, you know, because it is very similar to that kind of taste.
Yeah. And so I've given you guys the discount code for all your subscribers, so it'll be non-alc 22, so they get 22% off the case.
Appreciate it. Yeah, thanks so much for that. We'll share it on the blog when it goes up.
That'd be cool. Do you know when that would be? Is it a week's time?
I think now that we've tried it, I think it'll be pretty soon.
Great.
Right, have a great night, guys.
Thanks, Kevin.
Okay.
And cheers for the tasting.
No
Cheers.
worries. Thank you, mate.
Have a good night.
Take care, Kevin.